You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney theme parks podcast. And this is show number 279 for Sunday, the 29th of September, 2019.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my good friend Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Now, I gave a big hello out there to our wonderful Janie at the start. Unfortunately, she's not available this week. Unfortunately, her mother-in-law is not very well at the moment. She's in hospital, so big love to you and Simon, Jane. Mwah, from me. Into the breach, because we've not had her on the show for a while, we've got the lovely Becky Manion. Hello, Becky.
Hi, Michelle. Sad news that I'm filling in for, but obviously I'll always be happy to step in. Sending good wishes to Jane and family.
Oh, you are the best. And it's been a while because our schedules haven't been able to gel to try and get you back on the show to talk about some of your amazing travels.
I know, that feels like so long ago now.
And we will get back to those travels in a moment, but I thought we could go through a few items of news, and you've brought an interesting one to the table to start with.
Yes, obviously we all like to keep a close eye on what's happening when we're not there, and this week I see that the Skyliner has actually officially opened.
Ooh.
Don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to try this out. I think it looks like a really nice, calming, relaxing way to travel.
When they first announced it, and there was all the kerfuffle about aircon, no aircon, wind flow, blah, 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 I just sort of stepped back a bit and then remembered I have a morbid fear of heights. And I was a little bit apprehensive, but I thought, we'll see what happens. And I've seen quite a lot of reports on the old social media over the last few days about it. People going in these little Skyliner gondolas with thermometers, measuring temperature inside, measuring outside, and all this sort of thing. All looks good, but the thing that scared the bejeebers out of me is our lovely friend Banks over at attractionsmagazine.com. He went in and he said at one point the gondola stopped for 6 minutes.
Oh, no.
I would be having a well paddy at that point.
Oh, see, I'm okay with heights, and I've done a few cable cars, like when I've done city breaks in Europe, or there's actually a really cool one in Oregon. So I know I would be okay. Obviously, I probably wouldn't be okay if it broke down and there was crying children on it with me, but I wouldn't be nervous, but I know other people would be.
I suppose from what I'm reading, the idea behind this is one family grouping goes in one car, but if there's two of you or a solo traveller, surely they're not just going to put one of you in it. So
Yeah.
I imagine multiple groups are going to be in. So yeah, I imagine if you're in a car with somebody who perhaps behaviourally might adversely react to the vehicle breaking down, that wouldn't be pleasant.
Well, no, because I read that it seated 10 people, so that's quite a big group, really. But I can assure you I will be testing it out later in the year because I have a stay booked at Caribbean Beach, and I do believe it actually has a station at that resort.
It does indeed. So I cannot wait to hear a little bit more from you once you've had a little go.
I know, I'll tell you what, I'll do a video and I'll send it to you.
I'll just pop on the family page and do a live. That's fine too.
Okay.
As you bob in and out of Wi-Fi connectivity.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll do the video, then send it to you all.
That sounds probably a little bit better, and save those in-park videos and Facebook Lives for when you've got signal.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true.
Well, the piece of news I've brought is something that I know is very dear to your heart, and also, well, my daughter is of this way inclined, brought out a whole plethora of new plant-based menu items, and they're going to be coming to the park from the 1st of October. So before I get your soundbite on this, let's hear from Disney themselves, because they released a little mini video soundbite about it, about what this menu is aiming to do in our parks for us, the eaters.
Hello, I'm Disney Ambassador Justin Rapp, and I'm here with Disneyland Culinary Director John State to get a sneak peek at something our culinary teams are cooking up at Walt Disney World and the Disneyland Resort. Delicious plant-based cuisine. Chef,
Good morning.
thanks for inviting me to the kitchen.
Welcome. Glad to have you. These are exciting times, right?
Now, what exactly makes a dish plant-based?
Dishes that are crafted with plant-based ingredients are just that. Plants, whether it's fruits, vegetables, grains, seeds, or even legumes. Just keep in mind there's no animal meat, no dairy, no eggs, and of course, no honey.
Now, I can't help but notice that you brought a few dishes for us to try today.
Yes, so this is the potato flautas from the Lamplight Lounge at Disney California Adventure. Corn tortillas, crispy, filled with potato puree, topped with a plant-based soy chorizo. A touch of heat in there, right? The Serrano chili tomatillo salsa.
And this is entirely made from plants.
100%. And finally, we have the Rongo salad from Tangaroa Terrace Tropical Bar and Grill. So this is a very simple salad: green papaya, cherry tomatoes, edamame.
This is perfect. It's light, it's refreshing. I absolutely love it. This is terrific. Now, when our guests are visiting our Disney parks, how will they know if an item is plant-based?
Well, that's simple. Just look for the leaf on our menu. This new plant-based icon will be featured on Walt Disney World menus starting in October and Disneyland Resort spring of 2020.
Well, there you have it, foodies. Look for the new plant-based menu icon and hundreds of plant-based dishes coming to a Disney dining location near you. And bon appetit.
Enjoy.
I'm taking this with me.
So, Becky, what do you think to all this then?
Well, like you said, it is attractive to me, and because I will be travelling with my sister, her fiance, and their children later in the year, and they are all vegans. They've always enjoyed eating at Disney and said it's one of the best places with the best food that they've had. But obviously now there's even more options. I think they're going to be even happier, especially as it starts obviously before we go. So like, I know my sister follows a girl on Instagram, like Vegan Disney World, and she's always like screenshotting me pictures like, I can eat this, or I can't wait to try this. So I know there's options, but I think this has made it a bit bigger, hasn't it? And more accessible.
400 craveable dishes they're promoting it as.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. And is that just Walt Disney World? Because I know someone said about cruise lines. Were they including it all together, or?
There's going to be options available at both parks and the cruise line, but this launch that I've got the video that I played the video from was just specifically Walt Disney World Resort.
Yeah, so that's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, I know when I did the VIP food tour, they gave us a plant sloppy joe, and it wasn't good. The texture was just wrong. It just and they put a curry spice in. It just didn't gel for me. But I've just had a quick look down at some of the items. Plant-based cashew cheesecake.
I know, and you know what? We actually have brunch booked there, but I don't think we've got dinner. But I think they probably want us to go back just for that.
It sounds amazing, does that? But it's not just the table service. You're getting this at counter as well, because there's a chili spice crispy tofu bowl from Satuli Canteen, which we all know how much I love that place.
They actually really like that as well, because I think there already was a vegan option. I'm sure they both had a tofu one before and said it was actually really nice.
Jungle Navigation Company Skipper Canteen, they've got a really nice salad option.
Yeah, even if you look, they've got one at Star Wars, like Galaxy's Edge. Like, if you think that's a brand new land and they're already catering to that already within, like, what is it, like weeks, months within opening time.
Yeah, very, very impressive. It says it's a plant-based kefta, herb hummus, tomato, cucumber relish, pitta, and that sounds like food on the go.
And you know they can have the green and the blue milk.
Wow.
Yeah, they're actually both plant-based milk. So from the get-go, those actually have been vegan.
Yeah. So if you are going down this way of eating for your life, look out for the little logo, and I'm sure you'll be able to have a lot of fun with your food. And it's just another example of Disney where they go over and above.
Definitely.
However, I want to go, and I'm sorry, I cannot mention Disney par excellence without mentioning what happened to a tweet that I saw on Twitter from Magic and Mouse. And this is based at Disneyland Paris. And basically, Magic and Mouse were at Annette's at Disneyland Paris, and they got served a gluten-free meal. So not vegan, but a gluten-free meal. And you know when you go and buy a 99p ready meal from the supermarket and it comes in one of those little Tupperware plastic things with a clear plastic lid that you have to stab 17 times and you put it in the microwave?
Yes.
That's how her meal turned up on a plate in that container.
Oh no.
Now, admittedly, when you are following a gluten-free lifestyle, celiac is an autoimmune condition, and eating even a scrap of foods with gluten and wheaten can be very detrimental to the health. I know that my dad has this condition, and I know basically his life has been shortened because of this condition. So she paid her meal price for basically a ready meal, and what it transpires at Disneyland Paris, if you are gluten or wheat intolerant or can't have it because of celiac disease, all the food is made off-site in these ready meal style containers and served at the table that way to ensure no cross-contamination.
Oh, that's new. I know that obviously Paris doesn't cater as well, but oh no, I didn't know that.
I think that is appalling. It is so easy to make that provision very, very simply. Having catered for my dad, cooking food for him, I know how simple it is to do so and modify the menu. If I'm making a lasagna, I just make his in a different pan and I use one different side of the kitchen to the other. So
Yeah.
I think Disneyland Paris, you've let us down on that front, and I'm really sorry to have heard that. You know, I had excellent service at Walt Disney World this summer with regards to Tom's shellfish allergy. You know, so I know Disney can do it, and it's a shame it's not happening across the board in all the parks.
Yeah, see, it just that's completely different, isn't it, to the way we just spoke about vegans at the other parks, and then they can't even do something gluten-free at the same industry of parks. That's just mad.
Well, you could understand it when Disneyland Paris was not controlled by the same Disney company. But come on, guys.
Yeah, it is now. There's no excuse, especially now because more and more people are aware of what's happening and there is different needs and dietary requirements. So that's just going to get worse, really.
Yeah. So a little bit disappointing. So if you have a dietary restriction like that and you want to tell us your stories, positive and negative, please get in touch with us, info@disneydreamgirls.com. You can tweet us or Instagram us @DisDreamGirls, or, just get on there, that Facebook page, get in touch with us that way as well, because I'd love to hear what your experiences are. But so far, it's looking like a pretty mixed bag. Well, let's move away from the news there, Becky, because I'm so anxious to hear about some of the wonderful things that you've recently done. And I gather on your last trip, you stayed concierge.
Yeah, so we had a 2-week trip booked. I went with me and my parents, and we had Grand Floridian booked, but I also am on the mission to stay at all the hotels. So we had 2 nights booked at Beach Club Resort. This was, I think, we'd been there maybe 4 days, so we had time to settle in and do the parks. We just took a little case over, and obviously it was the morning, and I've never checked into a Disney hotel in the morning flying from the UK. Obviously, you normally get there quite late. So we had parked the car, had walked in, just had a little suitcase, and obviously someone was like, "Hi, what's happening?" And we were just explaining, we're checking in. So he obviously looks at our name and was like, "Oh, okay, could you just come with me? I'll take you straight up to the level, the concierge level." And we were like, but because my dad was still walking behind us, so me and my mum thought my dad had done it as a surprise. So we were looking at each other like, "Do you think Dad did it?" And we were like, yeah, probably. So then we were like, obviously my dad's just coming. And he was like, "Okay, we'll just wait for him and then we'll take you up." You're still like, I'm not going to say anything in case they've got it wrong. So I'm just going to see where this goes. So obviously my dad then comes around the corner and we were like, "We're just going up to concierge level." And my dad was like, "Oh." And we were like, "Look." So obviously the guy leads us to the lifts. And we were looking at him like, "Did you do this?" And he was like, "No." So we were like, "Okay." So took up to the Stone Harbour Club, which is concierge level. He like obviously takes, oh my God, I'm seriously, I've always wanted to do this in my entire life. He like does it, you know, where you press your key to then press the button in the lift, because obviously it's a concierge. So we go up there again. No one at any point has said, "Oh, congratulations! Here's some Disney magic," or you know, "We've upgraded you," or just something to acknowledge that it happened. So obviously we go upstairs. I've not stayed at concierge level, just to let you know, before, but I think my mum and dad did quite a few years ago with my sister. But they had booked that. So like we get up, and then there was like obviously this big lounge, and so there's like 4 different food types. They bring out stuff, and he was like, "Oh, go and help yourself to drink, and if you want anything, like someone will get it for you." And there was just 2 people that obviously check you in. So we just kind of sat in this lounge, and I obviously was literally like bouncing off the walls, like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! Like, I can't believe we've only got 2 nights here." But I think, like, once I started reading, it seems that people did get upgraded to concierge when they only had a few nights booked. Mm-hmm. So, like, obviously, I can't remember what day it was, but it must have been whatever time, because I remember I rang Luke, and I was like, "We've been upgraded for free, like, this is what's happening." And then, because obviously there's only 2 people checking you in, but you, like, sit down at this, like, really big, nice desk, and she was, like, a really lovely girl. She loved Disney. She was a proper Disney geek. Like, this was obviously before Star Wars Lounge had opened. So she was saying how excited she was, and like on her days off and after work, she went to all the parks, and she knew her stuff. Like, she was lovely. I think I actually did a cast compliment for her. So we were there with her ages, like just talking. Again, not one thing was mentioned that we'd been upgraded. We were just like, still like kind of like, I was literally convinced someone was gonna come and be like, "Oh, sorry, we've made a mistake. Do you want to like come back downstairs?" It didn't. So yeah, we ended up staying concierge, and I loved it, and especially because it was free. I'll just go through the basics, because I obviously didn't know how concierge worked. We had a standard room. Well, I wouldn't say standard. I was at the beach club, but it was lovely. Again, the 2 double beds, but it also had like a kind of a mini fridge and a little coffee machine, almost like a teeny weeny kitchenette. Nothing massive, but obviously what I think people do pay the concierge for is because of the lounge. So it wasn't particularly pretty. It was just your own quiet space. I mean, I can send you pictures so everyone can see. So they have, it's all included in obviously your price that you pay for. So they have breakfast, which isn't hot food, but it's, you know, like pastries and cereal. That was served from 7 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. And you could go, you know, you could eat what you want, how much you want. And there was tables. It wasn't ever overcrowded. But also at the whole day, like 24 hours, this lounge is open. They had posh coffee machines. They had fridges, you know, like with Cokes, like water, all of the like stuff you can grab. They had light snacks between 11:30 and 4. Also, while we were there the different days, it was different food each day. So like one day it was like a really nice like salad with some fish, and then the next day it was like some nuts and like something else, and it was all freshly prepared. Like the chefs literally wheeled it in. 5 to 7 was hors d'oeuvres and beverages, and this is alcohol now I'm talking, people. So one of the cast members would come in. They had like a white wine, red wine, a couple of beers, and you just went up and like said how much you wanted. And like, if you break it down, if you went to a Disney restaurant, you're going to be paying $7 at least for a glass of wine, right? For a decent one. I had like on the first evening, like a glass and a half. So already that's like, what, $20? I've kind of got my money back. And you can go up obviously as much as you want. And then at 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. it was desserts and cordials. So the desserts were like obviously like cute little pudding ones, and again, help yourself to what you want. There's all the plates and cutlery and stuff left out. And then on one of the walls they left, you know, like amaretto and a few like liquors and stuff which you could help yourself to. And then I think that kind of went after 10. The lounge also had a TV on. I think there might have been like cartoons or something playing. There was board games there. I think there was a balcony you could actually stand outside and go out and on. I also saw Mickey bars stocked in one of the fridges, just, you know, for if you wanted to grab one at like 2 in the morning or something. But that door for that lounge was always open. So like we was actually there. It was the beginning of May because it was Hollywood Studios' anniversary. So I knew it was going to be busy that day, and it was just lovely. I sat in that lounge with my mum and dad. I had a small glass of wine. I had some snacky bits. I was like really chilled out, and then we just, like got the boat to Hollywood Studios. I just felt like in a proper holiday, nice mood. I wasn't going to like a restaurant and like fighting for like queues and magic bands and the hustle and bustle before you even go out. The whole thing was just a completely different experience. And there was a few families there. Obviously, when the kids came like tearing in, like grabbing all the food and stuff, it was like, oh, okay, there is children here, but not many. Like there was quite a few adults. I kept seeing the same woman at drink time. She actually looked at me and was like, oh my God, every time I see you, I've got alcohol in my hand. It's just like, who cares? We're at concierge. But honestly, it was nice. And I think the whole level is just club level as well. So it was just, I know beach club's quite big. So if you came out the lift, you could either kind of turn left or right. And then it was like, like the rows of corridors. I think that actually, when I was reading, obviously after, because I was doing a bit of research, I think beach club had one of the biggest amount of rooms. Like the other ones don't have as much, say like Polynesian or Boardwalk. But turn down service was also offered. So I had chocolates on my pillow. They had the fresh water, with the ice when you come out of the lifts, just, so you could get some water. Every time you walk past the reception, which was opposite the lift, obviously the people always like, hi, how are you? Have a nice day. Or like, welcome home, where have you been? Like everyone was just, and then me and my mum felt really rude. So obviously there's no bins or nowhere to put your plates and food and stuff. So you look around like, oh, is there like a corner we leave it? Like they will just come from your table and just be like, I'll take that for you. I'll take that for you. But you sometimes feel cheeky because you want to like help tidy up a bit and you don't want to just be like a slob. And they're just like, no, we'll take it. So you almost feel like you want to like, okay, I'll just put the glass of water over here or something. But yeah, I think if you was a light eater and you wasn't into big heavy foods and you wanted to slow down your pace of your holiday a bit, I think it would be worth the money because you're going to get food 4 times a day technically. Included. You're going to have somewhere to sit down and eat that food. But if you are like obviously a proper foodie and want to get in the parks and do your thing and you're only maybe going to grab a bite to eat for breakfast, it might not be worth it unless you just want to do it for the experience. But obviously for us, especially for me, I didn't even pay for it. So like I got to tick a massive thing off my list, which I didn't even know was on my list, to be fair. But obviously now I've seen like a whole other side of it, of what obviously again Disney can offer.
That's so amazing. I am so pleased they looked after you so well, my lovely. Nobody deserves it more.
Honestly, I was just like, how is this happening? Also, I really, really like Beach Club now. Like it's gone into my top 3.
Where have you still got to stay at?
Bay Lake Tower, Boardwalk. I'm not sure if I'm going to count the new ones, like Riviera. I've not done Treehouse, or basically all the DVC ones because they just keep building more and more. But I'm hoping to get there, maybe by next year.
I've got friends over in Walt Disney World now and they're at the Grand Destino Tower and they are saying nothing but amazing things about it.
Yeah, I do want to go and have a nose.
Yeah, I think a little trip over there and lunch at Rick's Bar might be happening for you on your next trip.
Yeah, I love being nosy at like the new bits, and obviously I know like more things have been announced, like at Old River Country one, and just every time I try and complete one, they just build another one, so I'm trying.
Oh, well, while you were there, you also went on something you've sold to me as a flower tour. And it's like, what on earth are you on about? Flower? You're taking me round a bakery?
Not that kind of flower, Michelle. I went obviously during Flower and Garden Festival, and there's a tour that's offered, which is only on during Flower and Garden Festival. I meant to do it last trip, but didn't get round to it because obviously I had 3 others. So it's called Gardens of the World Tour. Obviously, it's based in Epcot. This one, obviously at the time, was about $85 each. But that was obviously May 2019, so you never know, do you? Disney described it as everywhere you look at the Walt Disney World Resort, The trees, shrubs and flowers play a vital role in setting the stage for recreation, entertainment and beauty. Disney landscaping has become a recognised show in itself, providing colour and enjoyment throughout the year. This fascinating 3-hour programme gives participants to study the various gardens of Epcot World Showcase with one of the experts responsible for helping maintain the horticultural show. So I thought it was just like a nice spring one, and obviously because it was just me and my parents again, it's just easy to do the things like that without like the rest of the family. It's another early start. It started at 8:45 behind Spaceship Earth. Got the like the lanyard and the headset again. Mm-hmm. They were introducing themselves, the horticulturalists. Oh, I know this sounds awful. They were both from South America, but they said, look, we are not tour guides. Like our job is horticulturist, so like obviously please bear with us. This is like an additional thing that they started doing for us to show you guys. Basically, the lady that did most of the tour, her pavilion was the UK, so obviously like she did most of the talking around that bit. I think we started off, we went and looked at, do you know the Bo Peep topiary was the new one this year?
Yeah.
So that's where they started off and kind of talked about that a little bit, and then we walked around the beginning, and then there's a bit which goes down into World Showcase. The big flower towers. They're like ginormous. They were saying, they actually lifted one up for us and let us look in to show you how many layers are actually in it. Like, it's just unbelievable when you just think how much effort was actually just in that tower. The tallest topiary this year was Goofy. So if you looked at the back of Spaceship Earth, he was kind of in front of it. Again, down that front. He was more than 14 foot high. Just in case you wanted to know. They went Mexico first, and did you know, like, to the right of Epcot, there's that little path that winds up into the pavilion. Mm-hmm. That was like a little garden this year, but with obviously plants that are native to Mexico, and obviously the humidity. So each country we walked around, they would obviously stop and show us something of a particular interest. Obviously, there was always time for questions. In Norway, I don't know if you'll remember, but do you know the roofs look like they have grass on?
Oh, yes, they do, don't they?
Yeah, so actually only one of them is real grass. The rest aren't real grass, but obviously they do it so well, you'd think it was all real grass. We stopped for quite a long time in, I think it was Germany and Italy, because everyone was really intrigued about the hanging baskets. Because obviously that's what everyone wants to grow when they're at home, and they were like saying, how much effort it is, and they actually do shifts, so they can work, like from 2 a.m. until like say, I think it was 10, because they are literally constantly watering and checking and maintaining those plants. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So there's also a backup plant for every single plant. So there was 120 hanging baskets around that World Showcase.
Wow. They
also have another 120 backstage. So obviously they said it's hard because of the Florida sun. It is hot, and the weather sometimes, storms. So if like one, they said it doesn't happen often, but say if one died, or like not, again, doesn't happen a lot, but if like one had got pulled by people visiting, they literally just take out that whole basket and will just replace it with the backup one. So everything you see on stage has one just growing just in case. That's how much effort they put into just the plants and the flowers. Like, you're just like, oh my god, like these people obviously like really, really passionate. They'd both come over from South America, and they were like obviously did crazy hours, and they're like really into their plants. But you're just like, that's mad. That's just one aspect of it. I mean, I wouldn't say this is a backstage tour, because you don't actually go backstage, because obviously you're just doing World Showcase. So I think we ended in Canada, because obviously that's the last one. They gave us like a little pin and a little handout on like how to care for your own garden, just as like a little bit. And obviously there was more time for questions. So obviously not being ageist, I was the youngest person on this tour, because obviously it was about flowers and gardening. So I think everyone was like, oh, get some tips, which obviously you could have done. But when it's like that time when you want a notepad and pen to start being like, hang on, what do you say you should do? Or how do you do this? But again, it's just, the amount of effort and care that goes into that place it's just crazy. But I really liked it. It was not, it was getting warm that day. So obviously it's 3 hours. We were getting kind of a bit more near midday. And I think we made it to Mexico before World Showcase opened. And obviously then the people started coming in. But it was still quite quiet as obviously we made our way to Canada. But that was still like another tour I'm glad I've done. And I got the opportunity to do it and obviously learn just that little bit more about Walt Disney World.
Sounds an absolutely fascinating tour.
Yeah, I just thought it was... You're it's not about Walt Disney World, but it still is in a way.
So, Becky, where in the world are you going to next, my lovely? Because you get to travel around. So, what's your next big Disney trip?
It is coming up. It is this November. We are going for hopefully a Christmas trip. I looked a bit at the dates. So hopefully all the decorations will be up. It'll be with all of my family. I am finally going to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party.
Yay!
That's obviously been on my list for ages because I've done the Halloween one. We're going for 2 weeks. We are staying at Caribbean Beach. I also have a Christmas tour booked, which is going to be one of my Christmas presents. So I'm quite excited about that because, again, it's another one. It's only offered at certain times of the year. Mm-hmm. So looking forward to doing that. I haven't been for a long, long time at Christmas, actually. But I want to see decorations. I want to do a resort tour of the decorations. I want to be at Christmas. I'm quite Grinchy when it comes to Christmas. I do prefer Halloween. But we're going before Thanksgiving, before the craziness kicks off. But that's my big next one.
I would love to do Walt Disney World at Christmas.
I will send you lots of pictures and videos.
Oh, you are the best. Well,
what would we do without WhatsApp?
I know. Come a bit closer. I've got a secret to tell you.
What is it?
I'm actually going to be in a Disney park at Christmas.
Will we meet?
No.
Oh.
I had one of those moments where I thought, okay, I've just had enough of everything going on at the moment, this, that and the other. They upped my credit card limit, so I thought, blow it, let me go. So I have splurged and I am going to Disneyland in California.
Oh my God, you have to send me pictures too now.
And guess when I'm going?
Oh.
The 24th of December.
You're going on Christmas Eve.
I'm going on Christmas Eve. I will be overtaking Santa in his sleigh.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I know.
So do you land there Christmas Eve, sorry?
I set off by me, I think about 10:30 in the morning. I fly to Heathrow. I have a little bit of a pause. And then I take off about, I think, 3-ish. But because of all the timey-wimey time zone issues, I actually land in California at 10 to 7 at night.
But still Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
Still Christmas Eve.
Ooh, what's your plans for Christmas Day?
Disneyland.
Oh, wow,
I know.
I need to see decoration pictures. I need to see them.
I'm so excited. I really, really am. I've got a list in front of me of all the wonderful things that I'm sort of thinking of and thinking, what can I do and where's new, because I've not been to Disneyland for like a year and a half. So it's thinking, oh, this is open, that's open. What can I do? What am I going to eat? And where am I going to go and see? And it's exciting.
Definitely.
But, and I'm going to share this top tip with our lovely listeners now. I looked in all the usual places to get a hotel because it worked out cheaper to get the flights and hotel separate.
Yeah.
And the prices of the hotels were coming out at about $1,300 for a basic 3-star in Anaheim. And that was a little bit too much for me. And what swayed me to enable me to book is I went on a website called Priceline.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's used a lot in the States. And basically they have an option where you can put in a star rating and an area you would like to stay in. And once you've paid, they tell you which hotel you're at.
Oh, I think that, does Tom Bricker do this?
Yeah, I think he does.
I think that's where I might have first read it because I was like, oh, it's kind of a little bit mysterious. Like, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, but you're going to get a 4-star and it lists the basic amenities at the hotel. So I'm thinking swimming pool, gym, air conditioning, Wi-Fi. It's near the Anaheim Convention Centre, so I know I can walk or go across the road to the Toy Story shuttle. So, no brainer. Let's go with it. Guess how much it was coming out at a night?
Oh, a night?
A night.
Oh, and this is Christmas time. It's got to be easily over $100 a night.
4-star, great location, just under $100 a night.
That's not bad. And do you get breakfast or do you buy that on top?
There's no breakfast. I got the Anaheim Marriott.
Oh, God, they're normally expensive.
Which normally sells out at over $250 a night.
And especially at that time.
So I've saved over 50% on what it should have cost.
That's mad.
The downside is I had to pay for it up front, but as I said, my credit card had got a new limit, so...
Yeah. How long are you going for, sorry?
I fly back on the 2nd of January. So...
That's a decent amount of time though, isn't it?
8.5 park days.
Yeah.
So I'm now at the point where, with the number of days I'm going to be in Anaheim next July, August, I'm sort of looking at it might actually be financially beneficial for me to get an annual pass.
Yeah, because then it's normally like over the 2-3 week, that's worth it, isn't it?
Well, I've added it up and it works out that I could possibly utilise the pass for 19 park days. So that means I would be ahead in what I would pay out of pocket for 19 park days of tickets. And on top of that, I get all the merch, all the food and dining discount that I can utilise. I get the photos and I get Max Pass.
Yeah, like is it 20% there as well, the discount?
Pretty much.
Yeah, like that's just, like I was with my friend back in April, May, and she went to buy a Spirit jersey, and I was like, well, let me go to the till with you. And like when you're buying something that's basically $70 plus tax and you get 20% off that, that's worth it.
Absolutely. So we've got some great Christmas content coming on the Disney Dream Girls there, by the sounds of it, Becky.
I know, we're going to be having to compare.
I can see it now. Which does Christmas better?
Oh, we could take pictures of the same thing and then put them side by side and see what people prefer.
I know which is a small world I prefer anyway. I don't even have to go and take the picture.
Yeah, but they don't really... And I know which Haunted Mansion I would prefer as well.
So exciting. So, my lovely, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. I really, really love chatting Disney holidays with you. Why don't you give yourself a shout out where people can get in touch with you to follow your travel obsessed life?
Thanks. I am over on Instagram. My handle is @what, and then it's _Becky_did. Oh, can I just say, I went to Munich the other week and I saw the castle that Walt Disney based his castles on.
Yes, hop on over, because I know I shared a couple of your pictures on the page, but I know you've got a bit more detail on your website.
Yeah, but just in case anyone was wondering, I do go to other places outside of Disney. Sometimes. I also have a blog, which I do need to do a Germany report actually. It's whatbeckydidblog.com, and that's just the WordPress one. I try and do like little reviews of like the tours or like the concierge, and then like I do like a little roundup of holidays, just to keep, like, if people want to have a little quick review or just something easy. I don't want to do like a daily massive one, just little quick snippets for people.
Sounds good to me, my lovely. Thank you so much for joining us. And as usual, you can get in touch with us the usual old way at DisDreamGirls, Twitter and Instagram. Show notes will be over on our website, DisneyDreamGirls.com. We have our Facebook page, Disney Dream Girls, and our podcast family page, Disney Dream Girls Podcast Family. Couple of questions that we do need you to answer, and then you can share your love of Disney with all of our family members. But until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
Bye everyone, and thank you for having me.